have members of diaspora groups, different countries, and also we have 9 platforms within the organization itself. And it consists of diaspora organization based in the Netherlands, from Latin America, Africa, East Europe. We have 2 organizations, and then also Asia. So as the topic already suggests, it's a learning. So we decided to learn about DFD members, what they are actually doing, because majority of them are diasporas. So we want to know what are they actually doing concerning remittance. So we want to learn about our members. So that was one of the main reasons why you took part in this research. And the focus actually was also finding out who are the stakeholders who are involved. If you are sending remittances, it passes through channels, but also who are the beneficiaries, and what actually do we do with this remittance, the usage, what actually do you do with it, and then also if you're doing something with it, what is the impact, how is it working and what is not working, and what can be the new strategy that we could develop or suggest and ask policymakers to help us to stimulate remittances to support local development. For it, it's evaluating initiative, partnership potential of Netherlands-based diaspora, that is our research focus, leveraging remittances for local development in the South. It's very long. For me, it's very long. If this was, let's say, a girl, I'll say it's so complicated. If it was a guy, I said, boy, you're so difficult. So to do that, we carried down, then we said, leveraging remittances for local development, period. Can we leverage on remittances to support local development? That is what actually we are researching on. One of the things that we found in diaspora, we are so diverse, so complex. There are so many factors that affect people. So because of the size of the organization, you want to actually to be able to occupy a lot of areas within the research, but also it was complex based on the time. It was complex and difficult also to make it. But in the end, you were able to come up with something. So we divided the research into 5 categories. Baseline research or baseline studies. We study about diaspora, DFD members. What are they actually doing? Who is doing what with remittances? Where are they sending it and what they are doing with it? And then another part of it was to look at the stakeholders involved within the remittances. We want to know which organization among the members are actually have some best practices or effective practices, and the last bit of it, of the research, actually focus on impact studies to see on the South what impact that the members are doing. I think to go through this, I will first return out to the methodology which we have in your hand. It's mainly focusing on how to execute baseline studies. If you have a platform or if you have a big organization, or how do you actually analyze your members, what they are doing, and the effectiveness, and what knowledge can you learn from there about our members. So this study or this research actually gives us some little insight to see those that they are working on remittances. One of the objectives of the PSO is to share knowledge. During the process, what type of knowledge do you use or you encounter or this? How can you share that out? So, okay, the baseline study, if you have big organization or institution or you want to do something about members or your stakeholders, this is the approach you should follow. So who are our target group? The main stakeholders here was the DFD members, and then of course another target group was the diaspora embassies, which are a new area of our engagement, and then also research institutions, both North and South, focusing in these countries, Latin America, Asia, and Africa. But our research here focus in Latin America, it focus on Colombia, and in Africa, it focus on Ghana and Burundi. In Asia, you chose Philippines. So how do you execute baseline studies within your group to perform analysis of your members of organization? You need to understand the group and then also identify who are the stakeholders, their interests, what are the capacities that we need to be able to do this research that we did. So if you're using the same methodology but for different research, then you have to amend it to suit your situation. But what are the capacity if you want to do similar thing for remittances for your organization? If you have a platform or a group, then you said, okay, before you do that, you need to actually assess the organization, the network, assess their data, their openness and willingness to share. Because mostly what we realize that within the diaspora groups, they have been over-researched sometimes. And some of this information for remittances are more personal. So you should be able to have confidence to be able to reach them. And then there's also willingness for them to share the information with you. And then also, you need to have a group of researchers with their understanding of cultural background. And then also, there should be basic knowledge about the subject that you're going to research on, and here it was remittance. The process, what do you need to do? Okay, here again, you need to develop a documentation. Here is what we did was you develop a questionnaire that you use it for both the embassies, the members, and then also the ministry. You consult the ministry on policy level. You need to also pre-consult your stakeholders. Even starting when you're formulating the project, you need to pre-consult your stakeholders that this is what is coming on the way, so that there could be some flexibility, so that the end result could be actually much more useful than get something ready and then go there and then it doesn't fit. And then also, data, you have to be able to have the skill to analyze data, and then also research output. How do you actually share your research information with the wider group? So what was the goal? Actually, you want to see what are the best existing practices within DFD, what are they doing with remittances, how can we actually influence policy, and how do we do that? We think the best area to go is the diaspora embassies or diaspora government. We want to see if we can have some dialogue and then influence their policy. And then also have some best practices within the organization, share within ourselves, that we can expand this or even go to the third mile or share with a wider audience. And then, of course, on policy level, trying to see how remittances could be much more innovative. In our baseline studies, what do we find? We found out that within diaspora, DFD, majority of the members, let's say 75% of the members, are actually individual remittance organizations. They are just sending. How many of them, the members out of 44, how many of them took part in this research? 28, which is around 68% of the organization. Why the other percentage or the other members did not take part? Some of them are in peace building, some of them have nothing to do with remittances at all. We also realize that there are groups that are actually doing collective remittances, like some platforms within us are hometown associations that they are so as a collective group, they will collect money, build hospitals or support area, but they also get donors' money. So it's not individual money, but there's a match of it, donors' money, and they later maybe their percentage or their, I would say, in-kind support. Small percentage of it actually focuses on investments remittances, and that is where we are looking on the long term. And then on the stakeholder side, some of the things that we find very interesting is that now you have been able to engage with some diaspora embassies, and they are willing to work with us to mobilize diaspora. We believe that research should give us existing knowledge, but also should be a catalyst to actually come up with new ideas so that you could improve what already existing or even enlarge what is already existing. So here we stress that remittances should address stimulation of diaspora entrepreneurs. How do we actually stimulate diaspora government to stimulate remittances for local infrastructure development by creating jobs locally? So the approach is, how do we actually use remittances to support local government development and then also job creation? That is the challenge that we face here.
The question is, maybe you can explain why your target group are diaspora organizations and not the people who are sending money.
Yeah. The same question you're asking, you have already answered it, because diaspora individuals, people, they send money to families and everything, but diaspora organizations do something else, and there is less research on it, and that is what we have interest here.
Yes, but you want to use the remittances of the people.
Yeah, the remittance of the people, yeah, but also individual organization, a group organization, hometown association or individual organization, they do something to help the community. So here our research is looking what diaspora organizations are doing, but not helping individual families, but helping a society or communities as a group. And then we are thinking of how can we actually leverage or come up with the new strategies will actually we mentioned, structured for development. How can we do that? I'm from Ghana. What our organization do, they don't do it for where I come from or other people come from. You do it in there where it's needed. And that is what our interest here want to see. How does it actually address developmental issue? But to show you something, I have a tennis ball here. I want to do a little demonstration with it. Don't be afraid, I'm not going to throw against you.
You can do it.
Yeah. The reason why you have realized remittances actually is not having effect locally is that when they go locally to the south, when they hit locally to the south, 90% of it, in some countries, 70% of it return back quickly. It does not actually consume local product. It consumes imported product. That means you send money to your country, and then businessmen in the local country, they will use the money to buy food, consumption, or medicine imported from somewhere. The money is gone. So you're not creating employment locally. How do we change this? And why have we been continuously 50 years be sending remittances? What are the new innovations? What can we do it for with it so that things can change for better? We have learned from other research that remittances is actually much more higher than development aid. If it's so, how can we channel it to help local development? Why things haven't been changed? This is our challenge.
The name is Elvis. From the Voice magazine. I'm curious to know the relationship between the government representatives, the embassies that supported you in the research. What is their response to this, collaborating with the diaspora organizations? Because our experience is that it has been much easier for individuals, small groups to go in, do something on their own, rather than going through these institutionalized bodies. Because then you send remittance meant for development and it disappears. And that needs another whole exercise to explain how the money was spent.
I think we have a very warm response. Those that actually receive us and then work with us on the research, we have a very warm response that they want to organize events with us to mobilize diaspora and then also share development opportunities back home, but then also with different methodology of engagement that diaspora will actually benefit with their remittances back home. We have a very warm support with the embassies that we have engaged so far. In the beginning there was some resistance, but we have been able to create new partners. I understand that we have concerns. In the past, most of us diaspora will not even consider our government as a stakeholder or as an area that we want to reach. But if we actually want a real development in our country, we cannot do without them. So we have to find a way to dialogue. We have to find a way to discuss. We have to find a middle way to do something about it. I agree with you that money spent, money goes into institutionalized. Where is it going? We don't know. But by dialoguing with them, able to go there and then see that, okay, what project do you want to invest in? How many jobs is going to create? What is the return on investment that I will get on it? How many jobs is going to create? That is my personal will be my interest. But what will be also my return on the money? I'm not losing it. What are the guarantees? These are something that I think we should continue to engage on and then also realize them. But they have a positive response to that.
I think it is, my name is Vati Khairon, I'm from Epic Research. I'm actually one of the Indonesian diaspora organization in Holland, representing Indonesia. So I want to say actually that now with Mr. Sam Thomas, also one of them, we are mobilizing the Indonesian diaspora and we are very much engaging the Indonesian embassies and we are very interested to merge with your activities, of course. But in saying that, this year there is a commitment from the Indonesian government to exploit or to use the potentials of diasporas outside Indonesia. With that saying, there is a potential from the Indonesian side to create all these facilities, infrastructures to receive one of the project remittances. And that's why I was wondering, if we want to learn, if we want to construct a learning program, the target group should also be active beneficiaries. So not only they are receiving.
Ideas that we have brought here will be taken on board on the next research, because only 28 engaged now. We have to widen our research, and then there have been interest developed within also other European organizations, our partners. So you will tap into these areas that we have mentioned.